Hey everyone, you know how sometimes you stumble upon a book and it's not just a good read, it's like someone hands you a secret map to a treasure you didn't even know existed? Well, that's exactly how I felt diving into Sankara's How to Take Smart Notes. I picked this up because honestly, who doesn't struggle with information overload these days? And when you're trying to write or learn anything meaningful, it often feels like you're constantly fighting against a blank page or a mountain of disorganized thoughts. This book promises a simple technique to boost writing, learning, and thinking, and let me tell you, it delivers way more than just tips and tricks. It fundamentally shifts how you approach intellectual work, and it's all thanks to an incredibly productive German sociologist named Niklas Luhmann. So imagine this, you're trying to write a paper, an article, or even just organize your thoughts for a big project. What's the first thing most of us do? We stare at a blank screen or a clean sheet of paper, right? And then the panic sets in. Where do I start? What do you write about? How do I even find all those notes I took ages ago? Arons argues that this blank page problem is a fundamental misunderstanding of how writing and thinking actually work. We're taught to plan everything upfront, to pick a topic, then research, then write in a perfectly linear fashion. But if you've ever tried that, you know it rarely works. Life, and especially intellectual life, isn't linear, it's messy, it's circular, and insight doesn't just fall into your lap on a schedule. Now enter Niklas Luhmann. This guy was a total anomaly. He published an astonishing 58 books and hundreds of articles in 30 years and even more after his death, just sitting around as finished manuscripts. When people asked him how he did it, he famously said things like, I of course do not think everything by myself. It happens mainly within the slip box, and I only do what is easy. I only write when I immediately know how to do it. If I falter for a moment, I put the matter aside and do something else. Sounds almost unbelievable, doesn't it? We're so conditioned to believe that great results require immense painful effort, but Arons Luhmann's secret wasn't genius or superhuman willpower, it was his unique working technique, his Zeitkosetsen, or slipbox. So what is the slipbox? It's not just a collection of notes, it's a dialogue partner, main idea generator, and productivity engine. Luhmann started by realizing that his traditional note-taking methods, commenting in margins, random piles of notes, weren't leading anywhere. So he flipped it on its head. Instead of organizing notes by topic or text, he wrote each idea on a separate small piece of paper, gave it a unique number, and put it into one central slipbox. The magic wasn't in the notes themselves, but in how they connected. He started linking notes together, not just linearly, but connecting ideas across different contexts, creating a web of interconnected thoughts. He basically created a physical version of what we now call a personal knowledge graph. Long before computers, the book even includes a glimpse into how his actual Zeitkosetsen worked. Arons stresses that this system is based on 4 underlying principles. 1. Writing is the only thing that matters. This isn't about writing more, but about making writing the medium of all your work. When you're reading, thinking, or learning, you're writing. This makes your work purposeful and engaged. 2. Simplicity is paramount. Don't complicate things with 1,000 different apps or techniques. The slipbox approach is incredibly simple, and that simplicity allows complexity to build up where it belongs in the content itself. 3. Nobody ever starts from scratch. This is a huge one. Traditional methods make you feel like you're facing a blank page with nothing. But with the Zeitkosetsen, you're constantly building a rich reservoir of interconnected ideas. You develop topics and questions bottom up from the material you already have, rather than forcing a preconceived plan onto your work. 4. Let the work carry you forward. Instead of relying on willpower, which is a limited resource and quickly depletes, a good workflow creates a virtuous circle. The work itself becomes rewarding, propelling you forward effortlessly because it's engaging and aligns with your interests. You might be thinking, okay, that sounds great, but how does this actually work day to day? Arons breaks it down into 8 steps to writing a paper. But these are really about integrating note-taking into your entire workflow. 1. Fleeting notes. Always have something to quickly jot down ideas when they pop into your head, a napkin, your phone, anything. These are temporary reminders. 2. Literature notes. When you read something, make concise notes in your own words about what you don't want to forget or what sparks an idea. Be highly selective, especially with quotes. 3. permanent notes, this is the crucial step. Go through your fleeting and literature notes and think about how they relate to your own research and interests. Write exactly one idea per note in full sentences, as if explaining it to someone else who doesn't know the original context. 4. Add to Slipbox. File your new permanent note, either directly behind a related note or just at the end of a sequence, and add links to other relevant notes. These links are the heart of the system, building a network of interconnected ideas. 5. Develop topics bottom up. Instead of brainstorming, look into your Slipbox. See where clusters of notes have formed, where ideas are already building up. This tells you what you're genuinely interested in and already have material for. 6. Decide on a topic outline. Once a topic emerges, collect the relevant notes from your Slipbox. Many will already be in partial order and create a rough outline. This isn't a rigid plan, but a flexible guide that will evolve. 7. Draft. Turn your notes into a rough draft. Don't just copy, translate them into a coherent argument. This is where you identify holes or redundancies. 8. Edit, proofread, refine your manuscript. A key takeaway is that writing is not what follows research, it's the medium of all this work. When you write, you're forced to clarify your thoughts, to translate ideas into your own words, which leads to deeper understanding and better retention. It's like Richard Feynman said about his notebooks: they aren't a record of my thinking process, they are my thinking process. I actually did the work on the paper. Our brains need external scaffolding to think effectively. And speaking of our brains, the book sheds light on some common pitfalls. For instance, multitasking is a terrible idea. Studies show it decreases productivity and quality. Even if it makes us feel more productive, what we call multitasking is just quickly shifting attention, and each shift is draining. The Slipbox helps by separating different tasks, allowing you to give each one your undivided, appropriate attention. Another fascinating point is confirmation bias. We naturally seek out information that confirms what we already believe. Arons argues that the linear top-down approach to writing, where you pick a hypothesis first, fuels this bias. The Slipbox combats this by making you gather all relevant information, even contradictory ideas, and connect them in a bottom-up fashion. Contradictions aren't a problem, there are opportunities for deeper insight and lively discussion. But isn't constantly taking notes and connecting them a huge effort? You might ask. This is where the concept of compounded interest comes in. Just like investing a small amount every day grows exponentially over time, each note you add to your Slipbox increases its value more than linearly. More notes mean more possible connections, more ideas, and a much higher degree of productivity. Luhmann wrote about 6 notes a day, and that led to his incredible output. It's not about huge painful leaps, but consistent, small, meaningful actions. The beauty of this system is that it helps you learn by not trying. This sounds paradoxical, right? But it goes back to how our memory works. Our brains are incredibly good at remembering things they understand and can connect to other knowledge. By forcing you to elaborate on ideas, translate them into your own words, and connect them to existing notes. The Slipbox facilitates real, long-term learning. It's about building a latticework of mental models rather than just cramming isolated facts. The book recounts the fascinating story of Solomon Shurishievsky, a man who could remember virtually everything. But this ability actually became a huge liability because he couldn't forget irrelevant details, making it almost impossible to think in abstract terms or grasp the gist of things. The Slipbox helps you selectively store important information externally, so your brain can focus on understanding and creativity. Do I need fancy software for this? The book emphasizes being tool agnostic. Luhmann used pen and paper, index cards, and wooden boxes. While digital tools like Obsidian or Zetter, which allow bidirectional linking, can make things easier, the core principles are what matter. The goal is to reduce the number of decisions you have to make about how to take notes, so you can save your mental energy for the content itself. Standardizing your note format and process is crucial for this. Ultimately, this book challenges a lot of our ingrained assumptions about work, learning, and productivity. It's not about being a genius or having endless willpower. It's about creating a work environment that aligns with how our brains actually function. That supports a growth mindset by providing constant small feedback loops, and that allows for opportunistic development of ideas. It's about letting your interests and curiosity drive your projects, rather than rigid plans. How to Take Smart Notes isn't just a book about note-taking, it's a profound guide to making your intellectual life more productive, more enjoyable, and truly effortless. It's about building a system that literally carries your work forward, a system where good ideas don't get lost, but instead mingle and spark new insights. So, if you're feeling overwhelmed by your studies, your writing, or just the sheer volume of information out there, I can't recommend this book enough. It might just change how you approach everything you learn and create, turning what feels like a constant uphill battle into a self-propelling virtuous circle. Seriously, pick it up. Your future self staring at the not-so-blank screen will thank you.